So, I've done something really, really crazy. I rebuilt the entire PlayStation 5 DualSense controllers operation system, whatever the bloody hell you want to call it, from scratch. And I call it DS5 Core version 2. A complete API wrapper system for the DS5 Windows interface on GitHub. I've covered everything. I've created the multiple subsystems for each section of the controller. So we have the analog systems, we have our digital buttons, we have trigger haptics, bumpers, gyro, and precision touch on the touchpad. Every button works. We get every input. Clear states tells us when a button's been held, tells us if it's been released, tells us if somebody's button bashing. I've done pretty well with this. We're able to control everything on this controller, natively supported on Windows. This is a big win for anybody who owns this controller and wants to be able to develop games natively, or even films, interactive ones, with this controller. You see, I came across a problem when I was developing in Unreal Engine. There was no native support for this controller. There's a little plugin on the marketplace, in Unreal Engine, but it doesn't give you the actual controller. You have to do a lot of workarounds to get the controller to work, and even then it's temperamental at best. You don't get really any haptics or any good feedback for the controller. As you can see here, this controller is being controlled natively in C++. And as you can see the color here, if I switch a mode, we seem to have a technical hitch. There we go. So, restart. There we go. We're running this in C++ wirelessly. Bluetooth packets between here and the computer, controlling it over the network. We have direct gyros, buttons, we have haptics. So we can control all the haptics, and we can set different modes. We can increase the resistance and configure each of their haptic settings. We have complete control over vibration. So we have direct feedback, again, over Bluetooth, even on USB as well. We have the light system, where we can control the lights. We can even change the system, which system we're using, pulse, gradients, flash, interval flashes, rapid flash, even Grand Theft Auto's police light system. It's the next generation of independent controlling of this controller, and I've done pretty well with this. I've created a whole SDK from scratch by reverse engineering this controller, because I own this controller, I own this hardware, it's in my possession. I have the right to be able to use it. I should be able to use it, and so should you. None of you out there should have to sign an exclusive agreement with Sony to use this controller. You shouldn't need to. You own this hardware, it's yours. That's why you bought it, that's why you have it. so you have the rights that include to being able to use it. And I've created a whole SDK for this, built upon DS5 Windows, which is available on GitHub. And when you take a look at DS5 Windows on GitHub, you will see it's nothing more than just a enumeration layer to communicate with the controller and open up the network to the controller. That's it. I've built every subsystem independent of each other, a master control subsystem where everything integrates together. Buttons, D-pads, touch, analogs. We have smooth analogs, we have smooth gyros, all readings, and the plan is now to be able to integrate these into Unreal Engine. If you're a fan of the DualSense controller, which I think a lot of people are, I hope you will be able to appreciate the level of work that I've done with this to open up this controller to you and to open up the possibilities of what this controller can actually do. I have even built my own integrated flight control system, which gives us IMU data and accurate gyroscopic readings. So this is, I rebuilt the PS5 DualSense system from scratch. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. It will really help. I'll appreciate it a lot more. Thank you, and enjoy the video. So, welcome to this video. So, this is our DualSense controller, and this is our native software that I've built to be able to use the controller. So, you know, just a proof of concept. The controller is connected via Bluetooth, and if I move the control sticks, you can see on the screen we have direct feedback, no stick drift at all, precision data. So even if you just move it slightly, you've got direct details. If we press the X button, circle, triangle, square, tells us on the bottom if it's been held. The D-pads, up, down, left and right, they all work. Bumper buttons at the top. Triggers, all work. And also we get given feedback status of how far they've been pressed. And if they've been pressed as a button as well, so we get two states. So we get button press and we get the trigger values. Trigger values are really good if you're running, say, a game that has vehicle mechanics and you want to control acceleration and deacceleration, or brake velocity, speed velocity. All the buttons here at the front work. The touchpad is 100% accurate. So if you put your finger at a certain part on the touch, it has direct X and Y coordinates. The PlayStation button, if you press that, oops, oopsie daisies, that accidentally opened up Steam. But as you can see, it's working. I should actually turn Steam off while I'm doing this actually. So there we go. So yeah, all the buttons work. If we press we get L3 and R3 clicks, we get touch clicks. If we press the microphone button, that tells us if it's being pressed, which also is flashing because we have it disabled with some of the code that we've got inside, disabling it at hardware and system level. Even Windows can't re-enable it. Even if you click to re-enable it in the settings, it will not turn itself back on. It's a major privacy update for the controller. I don't quite have the microphone and speaker system working just yet, but that's not too important right now. The major points of it at the moment, considering it's pretty much a full kit within 2 weeks, is each of the buttons work. Every single button works. Even the options button, share button, PS button, mic button, and a touchpad. So this covers the inputs that you'll want to use in a game engine. For the second one, we have the trigger haptics. So as you can see here, we can use different effects. We can adjust the parameters of start position, end positions. We can choose the amount of force that the triggers have. We can adjust the begin force, middle force. I'm going to add in some extra functions as well for the clicks that you get in certain things as well, because I did have them in originally, but I seem to have misplaced the code for them, so I will put them back in. And we can control it, and that's got a force of 80 on it, so it's these triggers are really tough. Now obviously at the moment, the way this is configured is it just automatically applies the setting. I do need to update it a little bit so we can just enable and disable it, but at the moment we've got really tough triggers to press, and they are really loud. We have our vibration haptic system, which using the keys on the keypad, we can adjust the amplitude of each vibration manually, which makes it really strong. And that is really strong in terms of frequency. We can increase the frequency as well by pressing A and D. We can lower it or increase it. The more you increase it, the more intense it'll be. So, you know, you could even if you wanted, you could use it as a massager. That covers that. And obviously we have our custom LED system, so we can choose the different modes. We can pick the colors that we want it to be. Now at the moment, when we pick a color, say if we want to increase the RGB values, so we can, if I bring this closer to the screen, we can increase the values of red, green and blue, and it should change the colors, but we have to turn it on and off to enable that. I think we can do it as well by using fade, so we can have a custom fade where it fades on and off. If we set pulse, now pulse is pretty quick, so obviously I won't put it too close to the screen for photosensitivity viewers, but be mindful that this video does have flashing images. We have the custom gradient, so we can set a gradient from the starting color. So if we increase the blue, increase the green, to say it like that. So we have a gradient control system. We have a flash, which is really fast, which means I do need to adjust it because that is too fast even for me. God knows what it'd be like for anybody else using it, but it's all customizable. Everything is adjustable, everything is tweakable. We have a flash interval, which is a lot slower, so it's a steady flash. We also have an inverted flash, which inverts the color that's set. So as an inverted color, it takes the color that it's been given and then it flips it on the RGB values. And then we have my favorite one, the police flash, which obviously needs to be a bit slower, but all in all, the systems work really well, and I really like this gradient, this ambient gradient. I think that's a really nice feature for the controller. I think that works really well. And then there's my favorite, the gyro. So if we put it level, as you can see, we've got raw data, filtered IMU data, raw acceleration, filtered acceleration. We've even got our own custom filters in there to help us clear up any noise, because these controllers are really, really, really noisy. But as you can see, we can, if we pull up, we're actually pulling up on the altitude. If we put the nose down, we can nose dive, we can tilt left and right, and we can even control the yaw if we press R1. So this is full military style, aircraft style control sensitivity. And when we're using R1 as well, it does make it turn a lot faster, whereas when we disable it, it's not as responsive. So we do get some extra functionality from it. I think all in all, this is a really good toolkit, and it's going to change the way games are made, in my view. I think this is going to open the door for proper game development. I do realise I'm looking over there. But if you're interested in this software, let me know. I'm currently going to be working to get this into Unreal Engine over the next couple of weeks. So it will be available eventually for people to download through the Epic Marketplace. There is going to be licensing terms and conditions with it, and for studios to use this, it won't be for free. But for independent artists and indie developers, you'll be able to get it at a really reduced price. But that'll be once I've managed to get everything worked out. But if you want it with source code, then obviously there'll be agreements and stuff and licensing conditions if you want it with source code. But the plan is to have it be integratable with Unreal Engine blueprints, and as it stands, I literally have created the whole system from scratch, and it works just like that. Even though, look, even if we're on the wrong way, there we go, the right way. And there is even a bonus with it, is we can use it to control characters, so we could even simulate gestures, create different movements. And if you're holding the controller and you want to do motion capture, that's going to help a lot. So you might be able to animate characters and stuff using Unreal Engine's MetaHuman and the DualSense controller, because right now at the moment we can only animate characters using the camera, but we don't really have good technology available to control characters and stuff without spending exorbitant amounts of money. I think later on down the pipeline, we're going to try and integrate 2 controllers so you can control left hand and right hand by holding it like a Wii remote. So, you know, and I think a key integration point will be to use the light bars as references. I've not quite worked out those details yet, but it's a work in progress. But for now, this is the Unreal Engine controller. Sorry, the DualSense controller subsystem for Unreal Engine. And it works. It's not ready for Unreal Engine yet, but I'm hoping within maybe the next 2 weeks I can get it ready and working in Unreal Engine. So again, if you've enjoyed this video and you like the progress of what I've been able to do with this controller, please leave a comment and leave a like. And if you've got any ideas or suggestions what you would like to be able to do with this controller in Unreal Engine or any other game engine like Unity or stuff like that, please let me know, and I'll do my best to see if I can accommodate that request and get it into the library. I think I've done really well so far. I might decide to make it open source, but for now this is just a proof of concept. But yeah, if you've enjoyed the video, leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.